All right, so 2023 NBA draft just finished, basically. Well, the first round, second round is still going through. But I was just thinking because I didn't have time to live stream or anything like that. I was like, you know what? Let's see what any videos got on YouTube. And so far, Sporting Logically always has a YouTube video. Don't know how, but he has a YouTube video already for the first draft, or I don't know how far it is, but and then I was gonna watch another one, but we're gonna see how this goes. But yeah, please subscribe, leave a like, do all that good stuff. I know I'm just reacting, but I kind of do want to give my thoughts on some of this. I do know what happened throughout the draft because I was mostly trying to listen to it while I was busy. So I know basically the whole draft scenario for the first round. It's still going on for the second, but yeah, let's honestly get into it.
The 2023 NBA draft was fantastic, as this time of the year always is. And there's all kinds of craziness happening around the draft, but anytime we're talking about this night, we have to begin with the number one overall pick. And that, of course, in this case is Victor Wembanyama. He goes to the San Antonio Spurs. And there's not a whole lot to say here that hasn't already been said. Victor Wembanyama is an unbelievable prospect, arguably the greatest prospect that has ever entered into American team sports. And really the intrigue here lies in how San Antonio continues to build around him, not only this offseason, but in the following offseasons. They have plenty of free agency and cap space decisions to make. But of course, Wembanyama as a prospect is just outstanding. He's unbelievable. I think initially,
the thing I did see was just the
his
shooting.
Impact is going to really be felt. If he averages 20 to 25 points a game this year, I honestly would be pretty surprised.
So hold on, sorry. Yeah, I remember one play from the three, or when he shot from the three, and then just went to go get his own rebound and then just dunked it right back like it was nothing. That was the only play that I was like, okay, this guy can't shoot from three. He's just going to get his rebound and go back at it. I mean, there's some times where that's not going to happen because there's going to be a bigger body there, but I mean, he's going to be like, and just get it and like it's nothing. So I see this man just doing pretty good, at least. I think his floor would be a Kristaps Porzingis, but his ceiling is just out this like nothing we've seen before. So
surprised because I think they're going to be conservative in bringing him along, making sure they're not putting too much on his shoulders. But just because of his length and his size and his mobility, defensively, his presence is going to be felt. And San Antonio is building a very interesting roster there. And of course, this was always expected that he was going to go first overall. Yeah. Which brings us to, when you're talking about this draft specifically, the most interesting spot in the entire draft, because everyone knew Wemby was going to go one.
This one,
and the conversation, even the day of the draft,
was just so interesting
between Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson. The conversation even came down to like a weird battle between Woj and Shams, because Woj never wavered, but Shams did, and ultimately Brandon Miller goes number 2 overall to Charlotte.
As much as I do like the fit, it just makes I don't know. I'd rather go for somebody who has an high upside and don't worry about the fit and worry about the fit later, basically. With Scoot Henderson, I would have rather just like, all right, we have 2 ball handlers. One can go into the paint and get his shots, while the other can go outside the perimeter and just get his own shot too. So, but I mean, still good. It was a win-win either way for both players. But the next pick is more interesting. So we'll wait until then.
I personally would have preferred Scoot there. I think overall Scoot is just a better prospect. We'll talk about him later on and understand the benefit of drafting a wing at 2 overall compared to a guard. They're harder to find. A high-level wing is more difficult to find than a high-level guard, and that's exactly what Charlotte is trying to do here. It's not necessarily about fit between Scoot and LaMelo Ball, though obviously both them being guards can potentially limit the development of either of them. Ultimately, this probably ends up with them just being more fans of Brandon Miller. They understand the value that a wing provides you compared to a guard. And it's going to be an interesting development story there in Charlotte. Miller is someone that can score the ball. He improved as a shooter throughout the year.
The highest value probably, I think, is probably a center right now, because people are trying to get Mitchell Robinson, Jardel, and all those type of centers. And it's just hard to find that type of center nowadays. And it's because you have Bam Adebayo, who not that type of player. He gets his mid-range shots, he gets his rebounds, he still goes in and all that, but it's just more, he doesn't do the rim running and all that other stuff. It's just more, it's more traditional centers now that we need, which is weird because they wanted the unicorns and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's weird to see it now.
In his at-rim scoring
definitely the
throughout the year. And in terms of prototypical size, again, when you're trying to compare and project a player to potentially a Jason Tatum level guy, Brandon Miller is someone that can certainly project that. He also could be Josh Jackson. You know, we've seen guys with this level of frame come into the league, have all that upside in the world of wings. Generally, it's a little bit more difficult
then,
to actually get that projection correct.
For Josh Jackson,
but the thing that he really has going for him is his shooting ability, his ability to score the ball, and that is going to lend itself really well to his NBA career. And I'm not surprised that Charlotte had a difficult decision, because I think Scoot is a fantastic prospect. And again, if I was in this position, I would have picked Scoot rather than Brandon Miller, and the intrigue of the day in terms of them flip-flopping back and forth. Not to mention the fact that they didn't trade the pick. That was a big conversation leading, weeks up to the draft, if they were going to possibly move this pick in number 2 overall. They stay there, they take Brandon Miller, and sets up a lot of intrigue for the rest of the draft we're going to talk about as well. Speaking of potentially trading a pick, number 3 overall, Portland, they end up with Scoot Henderson. It was always assumed that if they were going to keep the pick and they were going to make a selection, it was going to be whichever.
This was my favorite play. Hold on, let's get back. Hold on.
It was always assumed that if
this
they were
was my favorite play. I remember watching this game. I was like, oh damn!
It was going to be whichever of either Scoot Henderson.
I was
or
like,
Brandon Miller.
okay. From that moment on, I was like a big fan of Scoot. I know that's pretty late still, but man, I remember watching that game. I was like, damn, that boy just went at freaking Victor Wembanyama. That is some freaking cojones right there. To go against a guy that's like literally 2 times your size and could easily block your shot and just go at him like that. That was like, okay, no, this guy is the real deal. So, oh man, he is definitely like Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose.
Had about possibly moving this pick, going to get a veteran, going to get a star, what that means for the future of Damian Lillard. But ultimately, they stay at number 3 overall and end up with, in my opinion, the second best player in the class. Scoot Henderson has a rare ability when you watch him, where you're just kind of enamored with what he does. There's a level of competitiveness.
It's just the shot making. The shot making is what needs to be more. Is a little bit more desirable, but like every other person, like Lonzo Ball and all that other stuff, you can expect that he'll be able to get good efficiency along the way. He's still like 18, 19 years old. I mean, yeah.
Handles a lot of the really good qualities of someone like Russell Westbrook, someone that Scoot, kind of models his game afterwards. And, Russ doesn't always do everything right, but he's at least going to give a lot of effort. And he's going to be someone that you want to have on the floor. And that's what I really feel about Scoot. Not to mention the fact that he has incredible measurables. He's a great athlete, and really the only weakness in his game at the moment is the fact that he isn't an outstanding 3-point shooter, and could maybe use some improvement in his playmaking. But in terms of his ability to get to the rim, in terms of his finishing ability, his competitiveness, his upside defensively, again, his measurables in terms of, he's got long arms, big hands, and he's not big, he's not Victor Wembanyama or anything. But he's not small necessarily for a large 6'3" frame. It's someone that I think is going to have a major impact in Portland as an important piece of what they're building moving forward. They're putting together a group there that has a lot of big-time athletes, a lot of guys that have high upside and high potential. And I think given the situation that they're in, if you're just asking me specifically, again, as I mentioned in the Miller section, if you're going to have one fall to you at 3, I think Scoot's the right guy, regardless of fit. Both the Hornets as well as, Portland already obviously had league guards at the time they made the selection. So that was always going to be a little bit of a weird fit, but I think Scoot is someone that can fit in either of those scenarios. And I really think he's going to be really successful in Portland based off who he is as a prospect. Which brings us now to the 4th overall pick, and that is Amen Thompson to the Houston Rockets. Now, if you have a guy
who just does all the ball handling, can get you playmaking and all that good stuff. I mean, I remember watching one game when the Rockets went against the Celtics, and when they were bringing up the ball, like almost 2 or 3 times, they just got the ball stolen because they didn't know what to do. Because they were passing back and forth. I remember Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green kept on. No, Jalen Green was actually out because he got injured. It was I think Jabari Smith and Kevin Porter Jr. just passing back the ball, and I was like, damn, what is going on here? And like they had no guy who could just bring up the ball and just do the playmaking that needs to be done. Because Kevin Porter Jr. he's just he's a shot creator, shot maker, shot creator, and yeah, it's just I love Amen. His athleticism is great at this pick too. I know people are more just like, oh, you win an overtime elite and all this other stuff. Hey, this guy is athletic. He can play make. Just need to work on that shooting. It's good. It's good. I think it's still good. High upside.
Just to say that whatever happens with each of the prospects in the class, everything goes correct for an individual prospect. I would argue that outside of Victor Wembanyama, if you say everything goes correct, Amen Thompson probably is the second best player in the prospect. Victor Wembanyama is an entirely different category. But if you say everything goes
if everything
well,
does go correct,
this guy could be the second best player in the class. He has all-star, all-NBA level ability, upside potential. The athleticism there is incredible. I think he's undervalued and underrated as a playmaker and as a passer.
Yes.
The outside shooting stuff is going to be a big concern, and that's something that is difficult to overcome unless you're the best of the best as a on-ball creator. It's really hard to prioritize you offensively as a guard, as a perimeter player, if you're not going to be an outstanding shooter. And if he was a better shooter, he arguably would have been over Scoot, maybe even over Brandon Miller in this class, just strictly based off the athleticism and the upside and the potential that is there for this guy. But I think he's honestly one of the most misunderstood prospects in the class, because everybody sees him as a inefficient shot chucker that is just someone that has an incredible vertical, and I really don't think that's a proper evaluation of him as a player. The athleticism and the upside is flashy and it's interesting, but if he can develop a little bit more as a lead guard, the vision, the playmaking, as well as the willingness to be a passer, to be a playmaker is all there. Now, that situation in Houston might not be ideal for that, given that they might get James Harden, given that they already have Jalen Green there. But overall, as a value play in terms of upside, in terms of potential, in terms of what this player could be individually, Amen Thompson at 4th overall is absolutely the right selection and a player that I cannot wait to see what he's going to become at the NBA level. And let's just keep that evaluation process going, because his brother, his twin brother, Ausar Thompson, goes 5th overall to Detroit. And there's a lot of similar things here. I don't necessarily love this idea of
almost the exact type of player. Not necessarily. I mean, I think Amen is probably a better playmaker, but Ausar, if he can, I think he can become a better scorer than Amen. And man, I mean, for the Magic, this is a great pickup, man. A great pickup. You needed a guy who just brings up the wall too. I know they have Markel Fultz and Cole Anthony and all that other stuff. I think they're probably going to get rid of Cole Anthony, but I mean, they just need more guards, is what I was trying to allude to. I love Jalen Suggs, but I don't think he's going to be on this team much longer. He probably has to prove himself if he wants to stay on this team, but if he doesn't, I don't think he's on this team much longer. So you get Ausar Thompson, who could be your 2 basically, and still can play make, but I think he's probably going to become a better scorer. He was the MVP, which is kind of weird that he's behind his brother, but I think there's a little difference. There's little things that are better about Amen. So both these guys are going to have great defense throughout the whole thing. So I'm just excited for both these guys, and
immediately connecting them because they're twins, because they're not the exact same player, but a lot of that upside, a lot of that potential, obviously, is still there for Ausar, and I think that Piston situation is actually pretty solid for him. Now the difference.
I don't know why. Oh, damn. Sorry. No, Anthony Black. My bad. Sorry, that was my bad. No, but even still, to the Pistons, that's still great. He could be a great wing player too. He'd be great on the defensive end. You have Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, James Wiseman, Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, so either way, it's still a great pick for Detroit. You're just going for a high upside at this point. I know Cam Whitmore is supposed to go here. He fell way later. We'll maybe get to that if he ever does. But yeah, he fell way later, and I think they went for probably the better player in this situation. He's still athletic, so he can still get lob threats from Jaden or Cade or whatever. Still good playmaker, great defender.
Between the two is Ausar was less of the primary on-ball creator guy, and overall showed a much better understanding in terms of NBA shooting ability, in terms of things that will translate specifically in the postseason there in the league that they played in.
God.
But the situation in terms of him going alongside Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, the other young players they have in Detroit, is ideal for him because he has the opportunity to grow and develop and understand what his NBA role is going to be, while also not having a ton of pressure, because there's all these other guys who are going to help assist him in that. And their situation in terms of what's ideal and what's perfect for them is different between him and his brother. But Detroit, I think, not only made a nice selection here, again, if you're going for that upside, you're going for that potential, but also it's probably going to put him in a pretty solid situation in terms of allowing him to come along slowly, and ideally that doesn't stunt his development. That would be the concern. Now, speaking of upside, apologies to Anthony Black for not covering him at number 6, but I really want to go to number 7 here. Bilal Coulibaly is kind of been like the darling of the leading up to the draft process in terms of potential different things. Upside.
I do not know much about this guy. I've heard over the past couple of weeks that he's grown over time with these teams, and that he's been getting higher and higher over the draft board. I don't really know the guys, or I mean, I don't know what his draft comparison is, but I just hear a lot of good things about being a great defender and all this other stuff. He's a great wing defender. So the Washington Wizards, I think, are just hoping for a great upside at this point. And I know this is a guy that a lot of people were saying could have a great upside, but he could fall still. He could still an all right floor, basically. So I'm interested in seeing him play. I will watch him play over the summer league. But yeah, I mean, for the Wizards, you just get a guy who is just high upside and just go from there. And yeah, so I kind of like this for the Wizards.
Incredible measurables. I mean, just long arms, a rangy wing kind of player. And Washington actually ends up going up from number 8 to number 7. They use a couple of second-round picks that they've gotten in some of their recent trades leading up to the draft to go and get a guy that clearly they desperately wanted. Victor Wembanyama's teammate, and as a result, got a little bit more attention on him, certainly throughout the season, than maybe he normally would have. And the deal with this guy basically is, if he becomes everything that you want him to be, you're probably looking at like kind of what Mikal Bridges looked like when he was really, really good for Brooklyn, which obviously is an unbelievable player, but you're banking on a lot of stuff there. The measurables, the defense, all that stuff is still there, right? The question for him is, although statistically some of the three-point shooting stuff looks decent, depending on what you look at, he was basically left completely wide open and has to become a much better three-point shooter in terms of consistency at the NBA level to be worthy of the 7th overall pick in this draft. However, when you're in the situation that Washington is in, given their recent moves, going for upside, going for a player like this that has the opportunity to maybe become an all-star level player, or at least a very high-level wing defender. Yeah, maybe it might not work out, but Washington has plenty of other options. They have plenty of other stuff going for them. They're just definitely looking at the long-term play.
Good.
And the more I think about it, even though I personally probably wouldn't have taken this kid in the top 10 of the draft, I can understand the reasoning for it and why Washington would go up and make a move for a guy that, yes, has all the upside in the world. And even though it might not work out for him, that's really not the end of the world for Washington if it doesn't. Let's skip ahead now to number 10 overall. We have another trade here to talk about. You're probably wondering,
this one's crazy.
Why in the heck am I seeing Kyrie Irving on my screen right now? We're supposed to talk about the draft. Well, this is a really interesting deal for Dallas. They go from 10, they go down to 12, and the selections here are not really what I'm discussing. What this means for Dallas's offseason, I think, is really, really important.
Yes, that's what I was alluding. That's what I was hoping for. You're just going to talk about. So I know there was another trade that happened later on with Dallas in the later 20 picks. I don't know if he's going to go over this. I don't think so because of time. But, geez, this is just a great... I mean, for Mavericks, it's kind of good because now you have extra money for the free agency. And you can... I've heard now people are saying, oh, they can get Dylan Brooks. They can get this. They can get that. So yeah, it's just a great thing in free agency of what they can actually get. I believe they actually did get Derek Lively at this pick, so that's kind of good. I do love him. I don't know much about him. I heard he's more of like a Robert Williams and just what you need nowadays as a center. So, but just a little bit taller, 7'2". So I do love that for Mavericks. They do need to start getting better at the center position because Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber, whatever. JaVale McGee was not it this season. Christian Wood is definitely not going to be it. I don't know why they want him at the center position. I do love him better at the power forward position, but it's whatever. I do like this for the Mavericks. They get a guy that they actually can use, and then they can actually get someone in the free agency class that they can use as well.
They go from 10 to 12, and they dump the Davis Bertans contract to Oklahoma City. And obviously, they do have to move down 2 spots in the draft, but it provides them so much more flexibility in this offseason. Obviously, for Dallas, the big decision for them to make is whether they want to commit to Kyrie Irving on a long-term contract. I've speculated that he's going to be going elsewhere via sign and trade, whether that be the Lakers or another team. And this doesn't necessarily make that more or less likely, but what it does is it allows for Dallas to have more options than just either letting go of Kyrie for nothing or signing and trading him to another team. They can retain Kyrie Irving until they relinquish his cap hold. He is still, the player they can re-sign and go over the salary cap to do so. However, they now have the ability, they have the cap space to bring in a player like Draymond Green, Chris Middleton, a variety of other players in the free agency marketplace that they might think are a better fit than Kyrie Irving. They could potentially sign him, trade him for some
That's
stuff,
interesting too.
maybe still
That's
have
interesting too.
plenty of salary cap
I don't
space to
think
go
so,
out there and
though.
get a
I
guy.
don't
But really,
think so.
this provides them the insurance and the ability to, if Kyrie for whatever reason does leave for another team for nothing, they still have the ability, the max cap space, to go out and get someone, like I said, like Chris Middleton, like Draymond Green. Maybe they're just okay getting out of the Kyrie experience and going and getting a free agent with what is now a max cap space slot they've created just by moving down 2 spots in the draft, which is a really, fantastic, but also really interesting move for Dallas. And those are really the highlights of this year's draft. There's still plenty of other stuff to talk about that we're going to talk about over the next few weeks, but a lot of
I guess he's just done talking about all that, but let me see if, because give me 1 second. If not, then yeah. But I do love this draft class, or just the draft in general was a little more interesting because a lot of guys didn't go where they're supposed to, like Kim Whitmore. But yeah, it was a lot more interesting. I do understand why they did pick some of these guys over other ones, but it's just very interesting to see. Hold on, I gotta go. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. It's probably not the best. Oh, interesting. I thought he did one.
Every single year, we have players break.
I guess he didn't. Wait, just a second. Sorry. There we go. Let me go here. Is it someone else? It was not you. This one. Let me see.
Well, the night we've all been waiting for has...
Did he? How far did he go? Let me see.
He can definitely make a difference right away in their rotation, but limited upside keeps this grade out of the A range.
They all went to
And
the number
with that
10.
being
So, I mean, let's look at the NBA. Let's look at the ESPN thing real quick, and then let's go over it, because I kind of do want to keep going over it. Yeah. So I know they're still going at it for. I kind of want to go to round 1. So let's go. Yeah. So let's go to number 9, Taylor Hendricks. Or. Yeah. So. Wait. That's okay. This is actually kind of weird. Oh my gosh, this is so much weirder than I thought. So Belil actually went to Pacers. Went to the Pacers, I think. Or no, that's not right. Jarris Walker went to the Pacers, which is nice. I did like that pick. That was a great pick for the Pacers. Just get a great forward. They can figure out the wing position with a free agency or something like that. I love the Anthony Black for the Magic. Yeah, because he skipped over a couple ones. So yeah, so Anthony Black, I love that one. Again, the Magic did need some guy who can. I mean, they again have Markelle Fultz. They do now have Anthony Black, have Franz, Paulo, Wendell. I mean, that's great right there. And then Taylor Hendricks, so do like Belil for the Wizards. Jarris Walker was great for the Pacers, I think. If he can shoot 40% from 3 in the NBA, I think that's a great win right there. Let me show you guys, just so that way. Let me kind of zoom in, so you guys can. I don't know if that zooms in for you guys. Yeah, okay. So now we got. Let me see if there's like an actual one. Like, that's not messed up like this, because this is weird. Like it's okay. Let me see if this actually is the one. No, this is weird. This is really weird. Maxwell, okay, hold on, hold on. I'll go to that. I'll get to that because I saw that. I saw that. That's second round. I guess we'll just go by this. So yeah, um, yeah, we'll go by this for now. I gotta remember the actual things. So, Taylor Hendricks to Utah Jazz. I mean, that sucks for the Mavericks, but hey, whatever. You got a good thing there. For the Jazz. I don't know how I feel about it. I just have to see it to believe it, if I'm being honest. Let me move my camera just a little bit there. So yeah, that's kind of weird. Jet Howard was a surprise to me. I know Cason Wallace went to the Thunder. That's gonna be a weird fit for me just because I'm not used to that. So this guy, let's see, player fit, yeah, okay, but yeah, Cason Wallace to the Thunder. That's kind of, again, see it to believe it, but it's just nice to see a guard, another guard, because I do not like Trey Man that much. I'd see him more as a 6-man, but then again, you could go Cason Wallace, Shea, Giddey, J-Dub, and then Chet Holmgren right there. So I mean, that would be a nice lineup too. Jet Howard, again, I did not expect that from the Magic. I thought Jordan Hawkins or Greg Dickey right there. That was almost all the talks right there, mock drafts. But Jet Howard, I mean, high upside, high upside, man. So that's gonna be great for Jet Howard to kind of get into it. Jeez, that's a crazy pick right there. Cause yeah, Derek Lively to the Mavericks, again, cool. Grady Dick was not what I expected to go right here. I thought at least just, man, this one was so weird. I honestly do not like this for the Raptors, if I'm being honest. I give it at least a C plus because they still get a shooter out of this, but it's just so weird because he's a 6'8" dude, or let me see, I think it's 6'8". He's great on 3-point, obviously, but like this dude's just too tall for me. And like if he was on the Magic, I think he'd be great because they're all tall. But yeah, 6'7". Yeah, it's still cool. It's still cool. I just, I wish for him like more on the Hawks, which not the Hawks, but just like I guess the Thunder or something like that. Jordan Hawkins, I mean, nice shooter or great shooter, but for the Pelicans, it's kind of weird because you have so many players. It's a lot of players are gonna be fighting for spots. I mean, it's a good thing to have so much talent because then you can just trade whatever you want, basically. It's just, again, weird. The Raptors, it's just so weird. Kobe Buffkin, you have that backup point guard that you desperately needed. He plays great defense. I just know he's a little bit bigger, 6'5", I think it is, 6'4". Yeah, he's just great on defensive, I heard. He's a great playmaker. It's just good overall guy is what I've heard. So yeah, it's a nice pick for the Atlanta Hawks. Keontae George, I mean, just high upside you just get the guy you like at this point for the Utah Jazz. So that's cool. This one kind of surprised me for the Lakers. Jalen Hood-Schifino. Because I was expecting someone like a big. I've heard Lakers like, oh yeah, they're going to get the big or whatever. This is a high upside for Lakers, if I'm being honest. Because if D'Angelo Russell doesn't work out, you put in Jalen Hood for the future. And yeah, it's good. Just good backup plan basically for the Lakers in the long run. Again, another one that surprised me too, Jaime Jaquez Jr. I was expecting like a Maxwell Lewis, Cam Whitmore would have been kind of weird not to go here too. I was just expecting a bigger name in this, but I know he definitely goes for guys for better fit and people who they like and all that other stuff. So I will have to see how he plays. Jaime Jaquez. I don't know much about this guy too. I know he's a tall dude and a lot of pounds, 225. Sheesh. Not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying like this guy's gonna have some muscle. He's gonna be a big guy. The NBA. He's gonna be a big man. This guy, I have no idea, honestly. This one's weird for me. But I mean, whatever. Again, I was expecting another power forward center for them, for the Warriors, but they keep getting guards, and that's what's kind of upsetting me because they got Patrick Baldwin Jr. and Moses Moody and all these other guys like Jordan Poole and all this other stuff. When you have Steph and Clay, like that still makes no sense to me. But I mean, whatever. You go for whatever you think is right. That's cool. Cam Whitmore to the Rockets. This one I kind of don't like as well. Just because, I mean, he could come off the bench or he can be your starting three, whatever. But it's just more, you have so many guys who need the ball in their hands. And no, Cam Whitmore is another guy who needs the ball in their hand. So it's just kind of like, what do we do? I know Ime Udoka will figure it out along the way. So yeah, it's more you get a guy that's just gonna be high upside, and then if not, or if he's still a good player but just not getting enough minutes on the team because he doesn't fit well, then you can still trade him, do all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean yeah, I'm just so surprised he fell down this far, man. That's just crazy. 20th pick when he's supposed to be like a top 10. That's oof. That sucks though, because I did hear a lot of just like, oh, this guy is just kind of sad right now. So, yeah. Noah Clowney, great for Nets. You got another guy who's a great rebounder, great defender. All right, it's just yeah. I don't know how much. I hear he's supposed to be a great 3-point shooter. Not great, but like a great one for his size and his basically his size, his size and position. So yeah, and then you get Dariq Whitehead, 6'7" guard, 195 pounds. This one I've heard fell down a lot throughout going through the draft, or like basically at the beginning of the year, he's a great guy, like top 10 pick at least or whatever. Then just fell down. I think it was due to off the court situations and all that other stuff. But I mean, you get a high upside dude who's supposed to be like a Kevin Durant is what I've heard or something like that. So he's a 40% from 2-point or from field goal percentage, or 40%. So he has 3-and-D expectations. Yeah, this guy is just a high upside. Hopefully you can develop him, but I'm not sure about that because of Cam Thomas and these other guys. So, I mean, look, Nick Claxton did pretty well. It's just more, yeah. It's just I hope he does well. That's all I gotta say. Chris Murray for the Trailblazers. Oof. Not oof. I do like this pick. It's just weird, I guess. I don't know. It's just weird. Because the Blazers just got to be in rebuild mode at this point. Because they picked Scoot. They couldn't get a trade for Scoot or third pick or whatever. And yeah, it's just kind of weird. I'm just more worried about with the whole Dame situation, which I shouldn't be. I do like Chris Murray. He's kind of plays like his brother. Not as well, but still have that player model of him. So that's nice that you get to start off with that. And if he can turn out just as good as King Reed Murray in his first year, hey, that's great. I know this one was traded, Olivier Maxson Prosper. So let me see on Twitter what happened, if I'm being honest, because Woj and them have all that stuff handled. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, anyway. Okay. So this is all weird stuff, but 26. That's 26. I'll start from there, or not really. Hold on. So I'm almost there. Interesting. What? This thing? Okay, I'm so confused. Oh, okay. So Rashawn and 24 are sent to the Mavericks, which I do not know who they picked. I guess they did get Olivier Maxence Prosper. I do not know much about this guy. Yeah, so he did the salary cap. Okay. I do not know much about this guy. He's good in the combine. Prosper. Okay, he's NBA physically fit, or right, whatever. Needs some time to develop, obviously. 40% from the college. That's nice. So yeah, I mean, this is a good pick for Mavericks. This is a good pick. Not high upside, but just good upside, I guess. So yeah. But I heard Marcus Sasser. Let me see, because then they're showing it at the bottom. Post draft. The Celtics drafted Sasser and immediately dealt him to the Pistons. Okay. So he's a 6'3" guard. Which means I think that they're getting rid of Killian Hayes, if I'm being honest, which is, I think, a good thing, because Killian Hayes is not that great. Explosive scorer, kind of like Jaden, so that's kind of cool. He'd be great. Defends with toughness, can make basic reads out of pick and rolls. Okay. Okay. So yeah. It's just being young in this. So it's just more a big upside. So Detroit get a guy who could be a great 6-man off the bench, or just a great backup point guard, and yeah, it could be like a maybe I don't know about that, but he can be a great backup point guard to Cade and Jaden. So I mean, that's great for them. Bevan Shepherd, I know. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Ben Shepherd, just a great overall player. Great wing. You can kind of probably have some high upside with this. I don't know about that. Nick Smith Jr., I heard, got moved. So give me a second. Or no, they kept him. Oh, never mind. So Nick Smith Jr., I'm a huge fan of Nick Smith Jr., if I'm being honest. Great playmaker. Great scorer in general. I just, it is the injuries that are kind of making everybody, just kind of question it and stuff like that. But it is high upside for the Hornets. So I love this pick, if I'm being honest. Coming out of Arkansas, yeah. Yeah, injuries did. Yeah, damn, he's supposed to be top 5 pick, but injuries. Yeah, I'd love this dude. Bryce Sensabaugh to the Jazz. I don't know if he got moved, but I don't think so. Okay, so yeah. Jazz, they got a guy they can just be like, hey, we can use you at some point, maybe not, we'll see. And if not, just, go on from there. Julian, I do not know this dude. What? Oh, the Nuggets picked this man. So, I know they picked good guys. They picked Christian Brown last year, who was obviously getting minutes off the floor. Or getting minutes on the floor for the Nuggets, and yeah, meaningful minutes, as I should say. Great shooter. I don't know about he's just a big guy. He could be a good defender. I know Mike Malone has defensive mind. Especially this year, man. Yeah. So yeah, it's just definitely picking guys that they like, and NBA ready basically for the Nuggets. That's good. Kobe Brown to the Clippers. I did see this one. Nearly traded to the Wizards. Okay. I did not know this dude, if I'm being honest. I know more Maxwell and all them. Just an overall great point guard player and all that. Or not point guard. Oh, I guess just power forward. I guess that makes more sense because they're getting rid of Marcus Morris and all that. So just a great overall power forward. If he can make at his position, that's great too. He's like what, 6. It doesn't have any pound and doesn't show the pounds, but yeah. So that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Let me see the second round because it's still going on. James Najee, that's great for the Hornets. Great backup center. Jalen Pickett, I don't know if they traded these guys, if I'm being honest. So let's see. Oh, so they got this. Nuggets got this. So Jalen Pickett is a Nuggets player, so that's cool. Ready to play backup point guard. So, I mean, I guess Nuggets fans, I don't know how you feel about this, but yeah, he's just ready to play backup point guard. So yeah, that's cool. Leonard Miller, I heard a lot of great things about this. Let me see if this is someone else's pick or I'm just trying to see who's who. Okay, so the Timberwolves got this guy. I mean, this is a high upside guy, if I'm being honest. It's just another high upside guy. Supposed to be going higher in at least the late 20s, or in the 20s basically. It's supposed to be in the 20s, but somehow did not get picked and got into the second round. So I mean, for the Timberwolves, that's great for them. They get a guy who they can maybe rely on in the couple of years when they're still going through their whatever thing they're going through. Colby Jones, cool. Cool. I know he's supposed to go higher too. It kind of sucks for these kind of players that you're expecting this. The Sacramento Kings got this pick. It's a great. I mean, if you move on from Davion Mitchell or something like that, that's cool too. Maybe if Kevon Huerter goes into free agency. Let me see if I know this guy is kind of good. It's supposed to be in the 20 rounds too, or in the top 20 picks. So yeah, he's just a good overall player. So he's just working on his shooting. That's all I got. That's all that really needs to work on, and his length is there so that he can become a good defender at least. Don't know Julian Frimple. I'm just trying to see guys I could see now. Maxwell Lewis is now maybe the Nuggets. I don't think so. Oh, Maxwell Lewis. Okay, to the Lakers. This is interesting now. That's interesting to me. Because I know people have been saying that he's more of if he's a high upside and he could turn into like a Paul George or anything like that. So that's kind of cool. Amari Bailey. Hey, is he actually? Okay, so the Hornets' final pick for the night, they get Amari Bailey. I know he has a high upside as well. It's just a lot of, off-ball situations and all that, off court situations and all that stuff. But hey, I mean, he's a good high upside. It's just we gotta, we just gotta get, yeah. If I'm thinking of either Brandon Miller, or not Brandon Miller, I'm thinking of, no, it was Brandon Miller and Amari Bailey or something like that, where like they had something off court situations. Yeah, I just heard a lot of things about him, and then he fell off. So, yeah, still going on in the second round. These are mostly the guys that City Cisco. I'm surprised. What's his name? Gigi Jackson? Is it Gigi Jackson? Has not been picked yet. That's kind of crazy. That's crazy. Damn, Gigi Jackson is still not picked. That's that City Cisco. I heard this guy has an upside too. Big wing. Oof. Yeah, he's big. 6'7". So this is a Spurs pick that was originally. So it's still a Spurs pick. Spurs pick, yeah. There's also one other dude that Sid Sissy, I think, is the other one. There's this Sid. Yeah, this is City Cisco. Yeah, Sid Sissy. I know this high thing and all that other stuff, but yeah, that's all I got for right now. I mean, the biggest one that kind of surprised me was probably Jay Howard, and then also the Sar Thompson one. So I know this is kind of a long video. I just kind of wanted to go over a lot of these names. I know most people don't, especially since, yeah, the whole videos and all this other stuff. But hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, I know I'm not kind of rambling through most of this. If you guys enjoyed the video and stayed for this long, for almost 45 minutes, please leave a like, do subscribe and all that good stuff. I don't have much to say other than, I mean, great draft night. I do wish players did get drafted higher, but hey, you go for a fit and you go for what you like. So tell me who your guys' favorite pick in all this. Probably my favorite. I know I love Scuba. He's not my favorite pick. My favorite pick was probably the God, I forget his name every single time. What is his name? Stop it. Jarris Walker. Probably Jarris Walker for the Pacers. So, yeah, Pacers might be better next season, especially with Benedict Mathurin becoming a better defender over the years. Yeah, that was probably my favorite pick out of all this, or maybe the Taylor Hendricks out of the Jazz because they just kind of stole him from the Mavericks. But you know, yeah, just tell me what your guys' favorite pick is out of the night. I know this is very late, but yeah, see you guys another time.